This is an informal video, getting some of my thoughts out on a variety of issues surrounding neoliberalism. Perhaps neoliberals maintain their hold on popular thinking because the solution they propose is just so simple. Give the government enough money and it could solve any problem. Every solution you are about to see on this list goes without saying. It's a law enforced by the violence of government. Using violence beyond self-defense is just wrong. If you don't think the state doesn't use violence, try not paying taxes and see that you'll end up at court. If you don't go, see that they show up at your door ready to take you away with guns. If you resist, they will kill you. If you don't resist, they will throw you in a cage like an animal. And all this for a victimless crime. Necessity. Before you say we need violence enforced by the state, I must ask, what possible service can be provided involuntarily, which otherwise cannot be provided voluntarily? If there is no such service, then it is not necessary. What service could possibly predicate violence, and why would such even be desirable? You have a burden to prove. Why is a giant government even necessary in the face of voluntary alternatives? You are foregoing voluntary solutions in favor of impermissibly coercive ones. Also, if people are inherently bad, greedy, etc., how can government regulation solve the problem when the government is itself made up of those same people? Weapons. Leftists want to get rid of weapons and make purchasing a firearm harder. But the problem with this is criminals will get all their banned weapons from the black market and avoid any background checks altogether. Jobs. Leftists would like to raise minimum wage to $15 an hour. The problem with this is that it will just make anyone whose labor is worth less than $15 an hour unemployable and destroy countless jobs, raise rent, and raise the prices of everything all around. You think a McSpicy will be $1 if minimum wage is $15 an hour? There's no way. Raising the minimum wage destroys countless jobs, inflates the prices of everything. Monopolies. Many think we need the government to stop monopolies, but the simple fact of the matter is the government creates more monopolies than it prevents. For example, IP, copyright, and patents create massive monopolies and cause prices to skyrocket. Just look at the pharmaceuticals. Also, the rich elite lobby the government, so the government will divvy out favors to these massive corporations, which in turn ensure the corporation's survival and helps it keep its monopoly and bury the competition through regulatory efforts. You cannot prevent all monopolies using the government, because the government itself is a monopoly of force. If we get rid of massive government, corporations would lose both power and subsequently their monopolies. Capitalism doesn't create monopolies, government does. If we were to take monopolization to be a concern, a monopoly of force is by far the most concerning of any possible monopoly. Climate change. Leftist solutions to climate change use government coercion to artificially shut down growing businesses for the sake of helping the environment. This destroys lives, jobs, and leaves people out without a solution to put food on the table. It also costs unspeakable amounts of money in government regulation. The free market could do all this without violence, without displacing jobs and ruining lives. For example, simply voluntarily buying solar panels, electric cars, etc. Since all this money is now pouring into these new innovations, they will thrive, and older, obsolete jobs will slowly be replaced, not leaving people behind hungry. Also, the use of violence to help the noble cause, like climate change, is contrary to the nobility of the cause. Why? Because it uses horrible violence to achieve its goals. Education. Leftists believe that education should be free, especially college. But the problem with that is that nothing is free. Someone is paying for it. College is as valuable as it is right now because it is scarce. The scarcity of this education makes it more valuable. If everybody went to college free at the cost of someone else's earnings, it would not even raise wages because everyone would have the same education. Education should also teach the harmful nature of drugs. And I don't mean dare. I mean really get into depth about the dangers of drugs. For example, the effects of meth use and heroin on the body. This education will scare a lot of people away from drug use. If only they could see the dark realities of this drug use. Conclusion. I hope you now see that government doesn't solve much. In fact, it causes more problems than it solves. Especially because it uses violence to solve every problem it has. Not just that, but this violence isn't even necessary. I hope this was enlightening. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a comment and hitting that like button, and subscribing if you really liked it. Thank you for watching.